So what we're watching here is the semifinals from this year's PPA Worlds in Dallas, Texas. And it is Ben Johns and Gabe Tardio taking on Hayden Patriquin and Federico Staksrud. This was an incredible match, and in my opinion, this may signal a little changing of the guard of kind of what we see at the top of men's doubles. So in this video, I'm going to talk about why I personally think Hayden Patriquin might be the best doubles player in the world right now. Let's get into it. Okay, so we're gonna pick up here at 7-7 in game one. It's been a back and forth game so far, pretty tight. No one's been able to pull away, but Ben and Gabe are coming off winning, I think, 3 or 4 of the last tournaments that they've played. So they haven't lost a match in a while, and they're used to being in these tight situations and finding a way to get through it. Okay, so this point right here is a great example of what are some of the biggest things that I want to talk about in Hayden's game. So we're going to go back and take a look and break down what's going on in this point and what I think makes Hayden such a dangerous player. So first thing, this was kind of happening all match, but see how far Hayden's coming over to take these balls? Hayden and Fed recently, I think about a tournament or two ago, made a switch to where Hayden is now playing the left side and Federico is playing the right side. They played for a long time reverse of that, but I've always personally thought that they would be a more dangerous team if they switched. They did decide to make that switch, and now we're kind of seeing that. But you can see Hayden's almost playing this like a mixed match. He did this the entire match where he's coming over and taking thirds pretty well onto Federico's side, his forehand. And I watched this whole match and I don't know that I saw him miss a drop. He's absolutely automatic on this drop, being able to take this middle forehand, roll it up, get it to bounce. And then you can see even his position that he takes once he get there. It's still super heavy in the middle, and he's using his positioning to apply a lot of pressure. He does an incredible job. I think he's got the best footwork on tour, and specifically he's got the best, what I would call, shuffle step. Some players like to take bigger kind of lunging steps. So like you see Ben doing right here, right? Taking a big step. It's super efficient. It's a good way to move, but Hayden tends to take smaller, quicker, more shuffle steps. He obviously will lunge if he's in trouble, but he's got some of the quickest footwork on tour, and we're going to talk about kind of how that helps him. So let's take a look here exactly. So we're going to go back to this shot. Ben hits a very nice two-handed roll there. Okay, ball's moving Hayden wide, and you can see where Hayden starts. He's right foot on the center line here, okay? So he's even hedged over a little bit to the middle. Right foot on the center line, quick shuffle step over, and now we'll just put a little circle here. He is in the corner of the court here, okay? That's where his feet are. He hits that shot, comes back. Fed decides to Ernie on the next one, so Hayden's got to cover that next ball. So now look where Hayden is on the very next shot. So this is the next shot later. So he's come from the corner of the court over here all the way over here, which already is good movement. But what makes it really impressive is he's not just getting there and stretching for the ball. He's actually getting there and getting what I talk about a lot as being important to playing kind of pressure pickleball, is getting behind the ball, okay? So you can see he's hitting a forehand. So I always say when you're hitting a forehand, you want to get your right foot behind the ball. So even coming all the way over into the middle of Federico's box, he's still got behind the ball, so he can be hitting a tip down dink and still applying some pressure. He's not just taking a big step and kind of reaching the rest of the way where he would be forced to hit a little bit more of a passive dink. So this may look simple, this kind of little sequence here, but this movement is incredibly impressive to go from one corner all the way to the middle of the next box, back to the next corner, and then he's over there to clean up the finish in the middle of Federico's box. Super impressive stuff there as far as footwork goes. Back to 8-9. Again, the middle forehand drop from Hayden. And you can see he's got that middle forehand, and even when it's short, he's not taking the bait on driving it. He's just taking the drop every time. He knows it's getting them to the kitchen line, and he knows they're winning at the kitchen line. Great defense there. You can see how active the movement is from Hayden and Fed. Fed's looking to Ernie. Hayden's coming over and playing big in the middle. And there it is. They get it 11-9. Let's go back and look real quick here. Again, the reason they can play so aggressive, the reason Fed can go Ernie, the reason Hayden can be so big in the middle is because his footwork is good enough to recover, right? So look at this position right here. You know, as far as like when I coach amateurs and they talk about like taking my ball or playing on my side, and, you know, we think of it as my side and your side and you stay on your side. That's not how pros play. So this position is pretty extreme, but you can see how much pressure Hayden's looking to apply. So we got Hayden fully standing in Federico's side of the box. So we got two players in one side of the court. Why can Hayden do that? Number one, he sees this. He sees Ben's lunged way out to his left side. He sees the paddles cocked, one-handed backhand. He knows this ball is going to be a dink, okay? Had Ben been behind the ball a little bit more with two hands on the paddle, and speed up was an option, or maybe a little more offensive plays were an option, he wouldn't be able to do this. But the main reason is his footwork is so good, and that's what allows him to do this. So he knows he can come all the way over, apply this pressure, and even if Ben hits a great shot behind him, way over here, Hayden knows he's quick enough to get back there and cover it. So Ben does hit a really high quality dink here. He carves it back cross court. Hayden takes off. And even covering all that ground, he's able to get over there. And again, not only get over there and just kind of stab at a defensive one-handed dink, but get over there and get completely behind the ball enough to be able to hit a two-hander. So, you know, going from here to there very quickly. So that's what allows them to kind of have this really dynamic movement, feel like they're everywhere on the court. Fed's earning, Hayden's coming over, he's recovering back. I've personally played them a couple times recently, and you just get this feel like there's nowhere to go and there's nowhere safe because they're moving together and covering the court so well. And so they're able to get 11-8. They got a couple errors down the stretch, but good quality pickleball, and they get that first game 11-8. Okay, so now we're picking up at 4-0 game 2. Hayden and Federico came out to a pretty quick lead, played some good kind of high energy points. Now we're at 4-0, and now I want to talk a little bit about Ben. And obviously we all know Ben's incredible. He's been probably the best doubles player in the world for going on 5 years now, but his style is a little bit different than what I think Hayden's bringing to the table right now. We talked about how much Hayden is pushing the point with his positioning, how much he's moving over and forcing you to kind of go to certain spots. You can see in this point, Ben's content to just hang out a little bit. He's taking maybe little steps over, one step here or there, but he's letting Gabe do his thing. He's not trying to overplay. But what he will do is when he gets his opportunity, he's surgical with where he puts the ball, okay? So this whole point, he hasn't touched the ball. Gabe finally redirects to Hayden, which is now going to kind of get Ben involved, hopefully cross court. Hayden dinks cross. It's just slightly high. And by slightly high, I mean Ben can get the ball out of the air. He reaches out, and he's so good at when he hits a backhand flick, first of all, putting the ball in a very specific spot on your body. And then number two, he knows where that ball is going to come back and he's ready for the counter. So check out this pattern here. Okay. Very, very smart. Puts the first ball kind of One of the best places to aim is, if you have enough control to do it, like Ben does, is high, like right shoulder. Because a lot of people want to come over with the chicken wing. And if you put it on the right hip, you can get your chicken wing over there and still hit pretty good counter. As the ball gets higher, it gets harder to get the chicken wing and especially get the ball down, right? So Ben's so good at hitting his attacks off pace, because if you're going to get it higher, you have to hit it slower. Otherwise, if the person just ducks it, then it's going to go out, right? So he's able to hit this off pace enough. Federico's kind of right shoulder to get this. And then you can see Ben knows exactly where the ball is going to come back, and he's just sitting on this next one, right? So a little different approach here. He's kind of waiting for his opportunities, and then when he does get them, he's very surgical with how he approaches his attacks and his patterns and stuff. Okay, so we're picking up at 5-2 here, and for this point, we're going to talk about why I think Fed is so good on the right side. Obviously, he's amazing on the left too. Like, they had tons of success, you know, with Fed on the left, but I think naturally he's kind of built for this role on the right side. So let's go back and take a look at what's going on this point. So same thing, we see this Hayden coming over, taking the middle drop. Again, not biting on driving it, just drop and get to the line. Now, as I mentioned before, Hayden's been taking a lot of middle balls the whole time, right? So Gabe hits a dink right through the middle here. I think Fed kind of thought Hayden was going to come over and pick it off, but he doesn't. Just an amazing job of kind of like adapting to the situation. When you've got somebody that's playing as much court as Hayden is in this match, he's moving over, he's taking balls, he's looking to be aggressive in every situation. The tough part about being that person's partner is you've got to be just really quick to react, as far as like, if they're going to come take a ball, I got to get out of the way. If they decide not to take it, I got to be ready at the last second to hit it and still hit a quality shot. So this is one of those situations where I think Fed fully expected Hayden was going to come grab this ball, especially maybe even out of the air. He doesn't. Fed's able to make a kind of a last second, you know, adjustment on the ball. He's falling back, but he still makes it. He ends up popping it up, but then he's just kind of digging on defense now. He's doing what he does, which is just make balls and extend points. That's why he's such a good singles player too. So another tough one, digs it out. Another tough one, he's still off the line. He's still kind of digging, playing defense at this point. Finally, after probably 4 or 5 kind of difficult shots, he gets back to neutral, okay? So now he's done a good job to get them back into neutral pickleball. And then that's the next thing that he does extremely well. So he's not going to provide a ton of offense on the right because Hayden's doing all that. He's so crisp with the counters. Swings are super compact. He stays on top of the ball. So this is a perfect example of why, you know, he's kind of the perfect match for Hayden on the right side there, because it's a point they probably should have lost. But Fed dug, he played defense, he kept him in the point, he extended the rallies. And then when Ben does go to hit a speed up, and we talked about Ben's obviously an elite level player speeding the ball up. So this is no easy task to counterattack this ball. Like, H definitely like hung this ball up. Like, this is net high. Most times this is a winner. So for Fed to kind of hang in there, keep this point going, then get this counter and get on top of the second one, that's just incredibly good right side play. Okay, so now we're picking up at 7-3. Pretty solid lead, and we got a great point coming up here. We get settled in at the kitchen line. You can see how, if you look, how Gabe and Ben are just moving a little bit less, right? They're content to just play kind of like their spots, play their half of the court, take their responsibility. And Hayden and Fed are flying around a lot more, right? Hayden's taking more middle. They're both looking to Ernie. Definitely a lot more active as far as like positioning, footwork. And I think that was the difference. I think that's, you know, like we talked about earlier, what really applies the pressure. So now we're picking it up at 8-5, actually now 9-5 after that Fed drive Hayden crash. Again, the Hayden forehand, don't think he missed one the whole match. This is an incredible point from Fed. Again, going back to what I said before, finding a way to just dig difficult shots, finding a way to extend the point, one more hit, right? Extend, he was jammed, he had that tough ball, quickly gets the feet out of the kitchen. That's a big energy play at 9-5. And there you go, just like that. They went from 8-5 to 11-5 in about 30 seconds with some quick points, and they finished it off. So incredible match from Hayden and Federico. They did go on to win the finals against JW and CJ. So that's a great win for them to get the championship at Worlds. And I think we're going to be seeing more of this team in gold medal matches and on top of the podium with Hayden now on the left side. So hopefully you learned something from this. If you did, give me a like, give me a follow, subscribe, and let me know if there's any matches that you want to see me do next.